#GrandSim17 is a multi-agency major incident day using a car crash as the incident focus. The training event, organised by the Major Trauma Education Team at University Hospital Southampton NHS Foundation Trust, created the pre-hospital scene using upturned vehicles, sound effects, scenery and volunteer casualties to practice how they would treat multiple patients with multiple injuries.
We're using simulated patients and who are excellent actors who come in and help us at the Trust, and really it's an opportunity just to show some of the care we can provide. Often it's the quieter patients that we really worry about, and the team will go around and they'll triage patients and make sure that everybody is assessed before they decide who has the priority in care.
And how do you decide who's a priority?
So we have different scoring systems you can use, and here obviously we go look at if they're conscious, the patients, what kind of injuries they have, for example if they're bleeding, and we add them all together and then we decide which clinical team should look after them.
Wonderful job, just stay there.
The training day has clinicians from University Hospital Southampton working, as well as teams from South Central Ambulance Service, Hampshire and Isle of Wight Air Ambulance and Hampshire Fire and Rescue.
All these guys are volunteers who've offered to come and help them on their day off to really practice our response here within Wessex, and they're all really keen that we practice this so that we'll be able to deal with such incidents in the future. This is a civilian incident of a road traffic accident, and this is something that we obviously see on our road, so we want to be prepared in case this was to happen here in our area.
We had a really difficult scenario with casualty cared, casualty focused extrications with a vehicle on its side, with a number of casualties inside, quite a lot of walking wounded and a number of P1, the most critically ill casualties, around the immediate area. So for us it's around stabilising the scene, trying to bring a little bit of order to the chaos in the initial stages, prioritising casualties and then completing the extrication and assisting the ambulance with our immediate emergency care skills. We're well trained in the variety of operations that we undertake, whether it be fires or road traffic collisions, hazardous materials, mud and ice rescues, and we take the opportunity to realistically train as much as possible, so it's been a full success today. For us also it's about working in collaboration with our partners, particularly our emergency service partners, and you would have seen today the relationships that the ambulance and fire on scene have already made previous to this incident really pay dividends at a time as critical as was today.
In the event of a real major incident, a device for any members of the public who are first on the scene is to firstly look out for their own safety.
They shouldn't go into an incident area if it's not safe, but that doesn't mean to say that you can't help people whilst being at a safe distance. So the first thing we like people to do is have a look and see what's going on and try and get some accurate information and phone straight away for the emergency services on 999 or 112. You don't necessarily have to ask for all three services because we all talk to each other. So if we know there's a big incident, the emergency service control rooms will alert each other and make sure that the appropriate help arrives. If it is safe to do so then, if you have some first aid training, then see if you can attempt to help some of the casualties by stopping bleeding, opening people's airways and making sure people are on their fronts or on their sides to help with their breathing. Those are the first things that we like people to do in the event of a multi-casualty incident.
Returning to the incident training exercise, onlookers said they thought that at least one of the simulated patients should get an Oscar. Norma from the Chesil Theatre in Winchester has been a simulated patient volunteer for 14 years.
We're given a brief of what we want to do, and I was just told I was a hysterical walking wounded, and my daughter was the one that had had the accident, and so you play on that, and I didn't know I could scream so loudly.
This is Shan Robins for That's TV.